I want to tell you something tonight which I hope you'll find interesting and I know is really important. It's really important. And no matter how old you are or young you are, no matter what your background, whether you're going to school, going to work or retired, this is still very important. I want to tell you about something that is a gift. But a gift that we don't always realize we have. Something all of us have, every single one of us have this gift, but we don't always appreciate it as a gift. And if you don't know you've got it, guess what? It's no use to you. It's no use to you. There's a famous story of a lady that was given a signed piece of paper which from her employer. She'd worked all her life as a nanny and a servant in a big house. And when she retired, he gave her a signed piece of paper and she so cherished his signature that she framed it. She spent the last of her monies on a frame and framed it and hung it on the wall. And when a new vicar came to the area, he went to visit this dear lady who was now in her last days. And as he visited her, the candlelight caught the mirror, the image on the wall. And he looked and he said, "My dear, where did you get that?" And she told him the story of how her employer had given it to her and it had his name on it. He'd written his name on it. It was a draft for £100, which in her day would have kept her in comfort for the rest of her life. But because she didn't know, she'd never seen £100. She'd only ever worked for shillings and pennies. She had no understanding of what she had. And she had lived in poverty, yet she was rich. So I want to talk to you about a gift. And the clue to the gift is on the wall. The image that's up there gives you a clue to the gift. That is the month of March 2017, and the cross is on the 12th. That marks Sunday the 12th of March 2017. Who knows when that is? It's today. That's right. Today. And today is a gift. Every one of us who woke this morning to see the light of day, all of us received the gift of Sunday, the 12th of March 2017. It's a gift. Now, if we think of it as just another day, we may just let it pass. But if we can get the understanding that this is a gift that not everyone will have. There are those who will not have woken up this morning and will not have seen the light of day and will not have this day. But today is a day that we have. The Bible tells us that the psalmist said on one occasion, "This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." He woke up and thought, "I've got another day that God has made for me." He understood that he had a gift. This is Winnie the Pooh. Now, you'll be pleased to know that when I'm not here, I'm no different to when I'm here. And when I was in London, I gave them at least 6 quotes from Winnie the Pooh during my sermon. And one of them was this. When Winnie the Pooh said, "What day is it?" asked Winnie the Pooh. "It's today," squeaked Piglet. "My favorite day," said Pooh. And that is what we all need to grasp. It's the best day of your life is today. No matter how good the days have been, no matter what you've seen and what you've experienced, no matter what you've known, today is the best day of your life. No matter what you're hoping for in the future, whether you're waiting for a lottery win or whether you're going on a holiday later in the year and can't wait to get there, still today is the best day ever. Today should be your favorite day. Today should be the day that you use to its fullness, because it's in today that you can achieve so much. There's a guy called Steve Jobs. Some people may know him. He owned the Apple Foundation. He owned Apple Computers. He was a very, very, very wealthy man, very powerful man in business. And he said, "My favorite things in life don't cost any money." Now, here's a multi-millionaire. And he's saying, "My favorite things in life don't cost any money." And some of us think, if I was rich, I would be happy because I would have. But he's saying that with all his riches, he had things that cost him nothing and they meant the most. it's really clear that the most precious resource we all have is time. Is time. And Steve Jobs knew what he was talking about because he became terminally ill and he has now passed away at a relatively young age. And he understood that it wasn't all about money. The time is the most precious gift. Time is the most precious gift. And you can't buy time. It's a gift. The poor who wake in the morning are given the gift. The rich who wake in the morning are given the gift. The beggar at the door of Buckingham Palace wakes up with the same gift of time that the Queen wakes up with. She may have position. She may have many people who will pay her honor and respect. And the man who begs at her gate may have nothing material, but he still has that gift. Sunday, the 12th of March, 2017, is his as well as hers, and she doesn't get an extra hour. President Trump doesn't get an extra 20 minutes. It doesn't matter if you are in authority or if you're in prison, you still get the same 24 hours with 60 minutes in each hour and 60 seconds in each minute. The Bible says, teach us to number our days, that we may get a heart of wisdom. See, if you want to be wise, if you want to make the most of the day, then you need to realize that days are precious. If you get the right attitude to every day, then you'll do the maximum with it. You'll get the most out of it. There is so much there to be had. Again, the Bible says, look carefully then to how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time, because the days are evil. Very often we wake up and we may think, good grief, there's just so much going on in the world. The world is such a bad place. There's so many difficulties happening. I've got so many problems. Folks, the days may be evil. The situation may be hard. But you've got the gift of time. You have the gift of time. So be careful how you use it. Be careful how you walk. Making the best use of the time. That's the message tonight. You've been given the gift, every one of us, but what are we doing with it? What is it we will do with the time we've got? Coming back to the man called Steve Jobs, this is the plaque that is up. Steve Jobs, founder of Apple Incorporated, and it reads, being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. Going to bed at night saying we've done something wonderful, that's what matters to me. Being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. Folks, there's no pockets in a shroud. You ain't taking it with you. You know, one person said of a multi-millionaire, how much did he leave? And another person answered, all of it. All of it. Folks, money's lovely. We can all use a little more and it's good. Don't get me wrong. Love of money, root of all evil. But money can serve so many good purposes. But the reality is, being the richest man in the cemetery is not what it's about. Steve Jobs had it absolutely right when he said, being able to go to bed at the end of a day knowing we did something wonderful today, that's what matters. Every day. Jim Rohn. He's a man we listen to a lot. I was actually preparing this message and Caroline was listening to Jim Rohn out in the conservatory while doing something, and I heard him say this, and I put it in. It's not the time you put in. It's what you put in to the time. It's not how many days you've been working at it, but how hard you work each day. You know, some people say, I don't know. I've been trying for years now and nothing's happened. But it's not the length of time. It's the effort you make. And this is so important. There was a song that was in the charts some years ago, as we all show our age when we know the words. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I'm asking from you. Lord, give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus. Tomorrow may never be mine. Lord, help me today and show me the way, one day at a time. And that's it, folks. Today's almost over. We're best part of the way through. And you could think, well, today's gone. No, it hasn't. There's still some hours left. What are you going to do with those hours? Is there somebody you really ought to pick up the phone and give them a ring? You know, somebody you've been meaning to make contact with again, and you think, I'll do that one day, maybe today. Maybe go home. Pick up the phone and ring somebody who you've meant to ring. Give them that call. Say hi. Say, I was just thinking about you. I don't know. Maybe if you're among the younger ones of us, you're going to go home and you're going to be thinking, I've got to go to school tomorrow. Perhaps I should get my homework done. Don't go to school tomorrow and tell them I couldn't do my homework because I didn't have time. Go home tonight and say, I'm going to use tonight to do my homework. I'm going to make it happen. There's still some hours left. Folks, even if you are in the older generation, don't forget what Jim Rowan said. It's not the time you put in, it's what you put into the time. If you've got today, use it. If you wake up tomorrow, wake up in the morning. This could be a miracle for us all. This could be the first time a bunch of people wake up on Monday morning and think, great, it's Monday morning. Especially those of us who go to work. Great, it's Monday morning. I've got another gift. I've got another day. What can I do today? And I just want to say, the best decision I've ever made in my life, the decision that has meant the most for me to get everything I'm meant to out of each and every day, is when I decided to do what the song said and let Jesus lead the way. If you do nothing else with the rest of today, think about that. Invite Jesus to the center of your world. And if you put him at the center of your world, he will give you the power to transform your world. He'll take away the darkness, he'll bring light. He'll offer hope where there's despair. And he'll give you reason to rejoice, even when the situation is not as good as you would want it to be. I know he will. Because if he'll do it for me, he'll do it for you.